Will my anxiety ever end? When will my anxiety get better? I feel like I'm going to have anxiety forever. These are things I commonly read in the comments. So I thought I would make this video on what are the chances of recovering from anxiety, why recovery is so difficult, and look at some of the things that can affect your chances of recovering from an anxiety disorder. So I looked at a couple of studies that looked at the prognosis for anxiety disorders. This first one found that for people who reported severe enough symptoms to meet the criteria for an anxiety disorder at the start of the study, 54% of them still met that criteria at 3 years. So only 46% improved enough to be classed as no longer having an anxiety disorder. And this study showed a relatively positive recovery percentage of 79.5 at 3 years, but then found at 9 years most people still had an anxiety disorder or another mood or substance disorder, making recovery drop to a mere 40%. So both studies indicate that less than half of people will recover from an anxiety disorder. What the studies don't say is why is it so low. So I'm going to give you my view on why it's so low. And the first two reasons, in my opinion, are the biggest. The first reason is that so many doctors focus on the symptoms, not the cause. Medication suppresses the symptoms, but does nothing to address the cause. If your doctor tells you that the cause is that you have low serotonin, then watch the video I've linked at the end, which shows that many researchers would disagree with this commonly spouted theory. Early intervention using psychological therapies is so important, but so many people are put on medication for years before they're offered therapy. So instead of learning healthy coping mechanisms, they continue to practice and reinforce destructive coping mechanisms that makes the anxiety worse, which means they need higher and higher doses of medication. This model is great for the drug companies. The SSRI market in the US alone is around $3.5 billion. And what's worse is that many of these SSRIs have discontinuation symptoms, so if you try to come off them, you can get some pretty unpleasant side effects, including anxiety, which of course means it's easier to stay on them, and many people do for life. The second reason is that therapy is hard, really hard. Although therapy can be very effective, don't think it's an easy solution. To overcome any anxiety disorder, you're going to have to face your fears. You're going to have to do things that you may have been avoiding for years. You're going to have to stop using behaviours that for years you have considered essential for managing your anxiety or keeping you safe. You're going to have to challenge and change long-held beliefs. Many of these behaviours and beliefs are ingrained in you and may have first developed in childhood. But this is where medication can be useful. There are many studies showing that a combination of SSRIs and therapy has the best outcomes. And this makes sense because therapy is effective, but you have to face your anxiety and fears. So if medication can make doing this a little easier, then it's going to improve your chances of success. So that's the two biggest factors, but let's look at some other reasons why your anxiety may not get better. Substance abuse. Some people try to cope with their anxiety using alcohol or narcotics. But in addition to screwing up your brain chemistry, it can lead to addiction. If you try to treat the anxiety disorder alone without addressing the addiction, the chances of success are very low. The fourth reason is that it can be very tempting to try the easy solutions before the difficult but effective ones. There is a lot of marketing on social media telling you that this supplement or herbal remedy or latest electronic gadget will cure your anxiety. But most of them are a waste of money and, more importantly, time. Every day that you spend trying some ineffective, apparently easy solution is another day where your anxiety is not getting better, and is likely to be getting worse as you continue using destructive coping mechanisms. So, what can you do if you've tried everything and still it's not improving? Firstly, be patient and have realistic expectations. If you've had severe anxiety for a long time, it's not going to disappear after a few sessions of therapy. You may not be able to get rid of it completely, but even a small improvement can improve the quality of your life. If it's severe and you've had it a long time, you're probably going to have to keep working on it for many years. But it does get easier, and your life will be continually improving. When you go to therapy, don't think that the therapist is there to fix you. They can only show you the way. It's not attending therapy that beats anxiety, it's the things that you do in between sessions, and the long-term changes that you make to the way you think and behave that bring about a reduction in your anxiety. Making these changes can be really difficult, But if you're struggling with a task that your therapist gives you, then break them down into smaller ones. Start to make just small changes in your life, and it can snowball. And in time, you'll be able to make bigger changes and take on bigger challenges. If you're just not making any changes, you may have to explore why. Maybe there are trust issues that need addressing. Maybe there are self-esteem issues, and you just don't believe that you can change. Sometimes it's necessary to explore these things in therapy before trying to make the changes. Sometimes you just have to find the right therapist and therapy for you. But bear in mind that you still play an important part. Only you can make the changes needed to lower your anxiety. But if you don't have deeper issues like trust or self-confidence, and you just don't know how to fix your anxiety and can't access therapy, you will find many videos teaching you the principles of CBT in my playlists. There's one for each anxiety disorder. Not everyone will beat their anxiety disorder, but never give up. Keep working on it, and you will see improvements, however small. Take care now.